Okay, let's look at the ladder problem, right? So here's the situation. You have a vertical wall and the ground, and the 10-foot ladder is placed against the building, right? And then the bottom, the ladder is sliding away from the building at the rate of 3 feet per second, right? The question is, how fast is the top of the ladder sliding down when the bottom of the ladder is 6 feet away from the bottom of the building, right? So that's the situation, right? So what we want to do first is that we're going to give variables to moving quantities, right? So for example, you can see that the distance between the bottom of the building and the bottom of the ladder is changing. So we need a variable for that. So I'm going to call that guy x. So here, the distance is x, right? And also, the top distance between the height of the top of the ladder from the ground is changing as well because it's coming down. So I'm going to have to give a variable for that. So I'm going to give y, right? All right. Then we can identify everything that's given. Let's see. First thing we do is what's given. So you have 10 feet is given, all right? And here, x is 6 feet when we're looking for how fast the top of the ladder is sliding down. So x is 6. So let's write down what's given. So I'm going to write down given here. All right, so we know that x is 6. All right. All right, so we took care of this guy, so we already used this information. All right. And how about 3 feet per second, right? So that's the rate of change of the distance between the bottom of the ladder and the building. So that's dx over dt. So that's the rate of change of x value with respect to time. So this is going to be, right, 3. All right, so we use that. All right, then we would like to know what y is. We don't have that directly given, but we can easily find it because using the Pythagorean theorem. All right, so y is equal to, right, you can see that you can visualize a right triangle right here. Coming down here, that, and I'm going to just shade it here. So this triangle right here is a right triangle where a right angle is right here, right? So we can use the Pythagorean theorem. So if you want to find y, all you have to do is just square 10 and subtract x squared, then take the square root, right? So that's going to be square root of, right, 10 squared minus 6 squared, which is going to be square root of, right, 100 minus 36, so that would be 64. Square root of 64 is 8. Right? So those are the given values, right? Then by Pythagorean theorem, we can actually come up with an equation. So Pythagorean theorem, oops, maybe I should erase that. Pythagorean theorem. All right, we can come up with an equation. Here's an equation, right? So we know that x squared plus y squared is always equal to 10 squared. Right? We have that. All right, then what are we looking for? How fast is the top of the ladder sliding down? So we are looking for the rate of change of y. So we are basically looking for dy over dt. That's what we're looking for, right? So we're looking for dy over dt. So let's just write it down. Dy over dt is what we're looking for. So we have to create that from this equation right here, right? So easy way to get that is, so we have to somehow get the derivative. So the most natural thing to do is take the derivative. So let's take the derivative with respect to t, right? So derivative x squared would be 2x, and then multiply by dx over dt, right? So don't forget that, that's a chain rule. And same thing with y squared, that's going to be 2y times dy over dt, alright? Then derivative of 10 squared, or a derivative of 100, but the 100 is a constant, derivative is 0, alright? Alright, since we are looking for dy over dt, which shows up right here, right? I'm gonna isolate that, right? Right, first step would be, I'm gonna just subtract 2x dx over dt from both sides. Then you end up with 2y dy over dt, which is equal to negative 2x dx over dt. Alright, now we need to get rid of this 2y. We can do that by simply dividing through by 2y. Alright, so we're going to divide through by 2y. Alright, then you have dy over dt all by itself. Then you have negative 2x over, alright, dividing by 2y, so we have 2y, and we still have dx over dt. Alright, and we can clean up a little bit. You have 2 on top and the 2 on the bottom. You can cancel those out. Then plug in all the given values. Alright, so it's going to be negative. Alright, so x on top, let's say x is right here. Right, so x is right here, so it's 6. So plug in 6 here. Right, and y, where is y? Y we found out from Pythagorean theorem, so it's 8. So put 8 here. Right, dt is 3 because the bottom, the ladder is sliding away from the building at the rate of 3 feet per second. So multiply by 3. Right, so this is going to be equal to, right, negative. Right, so I guess you can simplify before. Let's say 6 has 2, so it's going to divide by 2, 3, divide by 2, 4. Right, so that's going to give us 9 over 4. So it's negative 9 over 4. Right, so how fast is the top of the ladder sliding down? So the top, so therefore the top of the ladder is sliding down. Right, so you can see that since it's already saying sliding down, so that will take care of this negative sign. Right, so you can just say sliding down at 9/4 feet per second. Alright, so that's that. Alright, so that's the answer. So this top of the ladder is sliding down at the rate of 9/4 feet per second. Alright, that's it. I hope that this was clear.